It's Cowboys Raiders, Monday Night Football at Allegiant. Can the Raiders defense continue to fly on prime time? Raiders columnist Paul Gutierrez stops by the show. Plus, Tyler Lockett is talking chemistry with Geno Smith. And former Raider running back Darren McFadden stops by to break down Ashton Jeanty. The Silver and Black Show starts now. Welcome to the Silver and Black Show. I'm Amber Theoharis. The matchup with the Cowboys is a hard one to predict. It's not often that you face a team with a top 4 offense and a 31st ranked defense. It will be a test for Max Crosby and company, who just held the division-leading Broncos to 10 points. And it could be an opportunity for Geno Smith to find a rhythm against a struggling pass defense. But there are a lot more variables. And to talk about all things Monday night, we welcome our first guest, Raiders columnist Paul Gutierrez. It's always good to catch up with you, Paul. Let's start with this. You know, the Raiders defense, they looked really good out of the bye. We saw the secondary had probably one of its best games of the year against the Broncos. But now they face the Dallas Cowboys. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, they're all having career type of years. What's the first thing you're going to be looking for in that matchup?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Amber. And again, it's one of these matchups, right, where it's the Cowboys and the Raiders, and two of the more prolific brands that have ever existed in the NFL. And I always ask myself, how do these two teams not face each other in a Super Bowl back in the 70s and the 80s? But when it comes to this coming Monday night, what the Raiders need to get off on defense is they need to affect Dak Prescott. They need to get to him. They need Max Crosby has to have his presence felt. And in order to do that, he's going to need some help. He's going to be Batman. He needs a Robin on the other side, whether that's Tyree Wilson or Malcolm Kuntz or somebody else to just kind of show up so that they can't double and triple team Max. If he's able to do that, what's going to help him as well is if the offense shows up and gives him a lead with which to play so that he can pin his ears back and get to the quarterback. So it all kind of starts and ends right there for me on the lines, and that's where games are won and lost anyway. So for that Raider defense to really affect that Cowboy passing offense, Max Crosby has to have himself a game. And the fact that this thing is on national television primetime, he's going to be pretty jacked up and pretty amped up to play and show his wares again.
No doubt about it, but it's not just the passing game. Javonte Williams has kind of resurrected his career in Dallas. He's a top 6 running back. If you had that on your bingo card, maybe you should go buy a lottery ticket. But what is going to be the key to the matchup in trying to contain him and stopping the run?
Yeah, it's something else that's come up of late is that there's been a little bit of criticism, unwarranted actually, of Max Crosby's run stop game as an edge rusher. And if you look at the numbers, he's one of, if not the best run stopping edge rusher in the game with all those tackles for loss and the way, again, he affects the quarterback. But that's the key is setting that edge on the outside and going, because those big defensive tackles, that's what they're there for. That's what Adam Butler is there for. Yeah, he's a pass rusher who likes to get to the quarterback. He got his first sack last week, but that's what the key is setting the edge on the outside so that those big guys in the middle, the defensive tackles. And that's where Tyree Wilson can also, if they're in some third and longs, you put Tyree Wilson in the middle of that, where a couple times last year you saw him standing up over the defensive tackle, and you have that big of a figure there, that's going to affect the running game as well. So again, it all kind of starts and ends to me with Max Crosby, whether he's able to get to Dak to affect the passing game or whether he's able to seal the edge and force the running backs up the gut.
One of the things we saw with the Broncos, it does not matter what the defense does. They can hold a team to 10 points. If the offense doesn't score points, they're not going to win games. So let's talk about the offense. The big storyline is that the line is banged up. No JPJ. We know Colton Miller has been out. How could Geno Smith help his own case against the Cowboys?
Yeah, and that's the thing with quarterbacks, right? They get too much of the credit when things go right, too much of the blame when things go wrong. And the truth is usually somewhere in between. When you have an offensive line that banged up, where he's going to get help and how he can help himself is the play calling. Short, quick passes that keep the defense on their toes. And that goes to Chip Kelly. So whether it's guys like Stone Forsythe that really haven't noticed, and that's a good thing. We're offensive linemen. You don't want to notice them unless they're pancaking somebody. When you notice them, that means they're usually getting beat. Stone Forsythe out there replacing Colton Miller. Charles Grant, the rookie, might get some run. Caleb Rogers at guard might get some run now because of the injuries. So that's how he can help himself the most, is by those other guys stepping up on the offensive line. You also can help yourself if you have an all-world tight end and you can target him more than 3 times during a game. not at all in the second half at Denver. So that is borderline criminal what happened there. But again, the Broncos are professionals last week as well, and they wanted to have their game plan to take him away. But I just always go back to Al Davis's old saying, yeah, it's nice. We'll take what the defense gives us, but you got to take what you want as well. And there's a very fine line between that. And that's how Geno can really help himself.
Exactly. What is your theory with that? Because obviously the game plan is not to give Brock Bowers 3 targets. Do you feel like the plays are in there, but then it comes down to a trust issue, decision making with Brock Bowers?
All the above, yes. I mean, it's hard to climb. I mean, when that game is going 1,000 miles an hour and he's injured and he can barely move. I'm talking about Geno on that last drive, and you could say, well, why is he even in there? Did he give the Raiders the best chance to win? And then you look and say, well, he did get him to the 30-yard line. He did get him in position to at least tie the game. So whether it's a mental issue, whether it's a physical issue, whatever it is, he really has to just go out there and let it sling. Be the same guy that we saw in that season opening win at New England. One of the Patriots' only 2 losses on the year, by the way, because that was a different guy in week 1 than what we've seen ever since. And you see little flashes here and there where he's still trying to, I'm not going to say force passes, but when he's threading the needle, that is what is key for Geno Smith, when he has that supreme confidence in himself to let it fly. Again, we don't know what the playbook is telling him. We don't know what Chip Kelly is in his ear telling him to do. But at the same point, you need to see more of that confidence, and nothing shows through more in that confidence than if he is threading that needle and hitting his guys and letting his playmakers make plays. Again, Brock Bowers.
See, I think they need to hire me as a sports psychologist, because what I would do is I would just take his stats from the last couple of years and circle the 70%. He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. He's known for accuracy. So like you said, threading the needle, he can do it. It is a confidence thing. We'd love to see him get that back. Let's talk a little bit about the defense of the Cowboys. You say it's easy to say they're one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. Well, Jerry Jones knew that, and he goes out and he trades for Quentin Williams, a defensive tackle. He gets Logan Wilson as well. Those are no 2 slouches. So how do they change? This is their first game with the Cowboys. How does their presence change the Cowboys' trajectory?
Well, we'll see exactly when they're on the game, because they haven't played a game, right? They're coming off their bye. So, just the Raiders' luck. The Cowboys are coming off their bye. The Raiders are coming off a mini bye of their own, having played last Thursday and not playing again until Monday. So they're going to change that outlook, especially from the run stop defensive side of the ball. So now we're looking at Ashton Genty. Again, what we've wanted to see from the Raiders from day one, especially from a Pete Carroll offense or a Pete Carroll team's offense, is a running game. They want to establish that early and often. And with Ashton Genty, before those 2 guys got there with the Cowboys had they were allowing the 5th most rushing yards per game. They're giving up 143 yards per game. So at that, you got to think that Ashton Genty's kind of licking his lips and, okay, let's get this going. So it's going to be a little bit of nip and tuck at the beginning to see exactly how Quentin Williams fits in there, because, again, he can be an all-world person, but he's also got to fit into the scheme. But they did trade for him for a reason, so we'll see exactly what that looks like. It changes the dynamic, no doubt, at least the profile, but we don't know yet how exactly those 2 guys fit when it comes to game time.
What does it feel like the success kind of early on of the Raiders offense in this game really depends on how Ashton Genty is used? I think we have to be very careful with not just saying, oh, just give him a bunch of carries. There has to be kind of a creativity. How would you like to see him used early on?
I'd like to see him used in space, and that's what we've seen the past few games. Yeah, we've seen it used in space, whether he's getting little hitch passes out on the side or screen passes or a pitch here and there, letting him create, letting him see the field up in front rather than just all these dives between the tackles, between the guards. And it's interesting is because the past few games, especially when they're on the script, the first 15 games, the 15 plays or so, and I've talked to our friend James Jones about this quite a bit, it looks nice. It looks very creative. It's very productive. And yet it seems after that, it's kind of helter-skelter. And I'm not taking a shot at anybody here, but that's what you'd like to see. You'd like to see a continuation of whatever that success was. Now, of course, defensive coordinators facing the Raiders, they're going to want to change things up too, and they're going to make adjustments. So it's always this game of chess. It's not checkers. It's 3D chess, really, 4D chess, because you're trying to figure out what the opponent's going to do. Again, I go back to what I said at the top of this is, yeah, we'll take what the defense has given us, but we're going to take what we want. And that's incumbent upon the offensive coordinator, the play caller, Chip Kelly, but also that offensive line to give him some space to do some things and Ashton Genty to see it and then make it happen too.
Imagine that, the offense going on the offensive. That's a novel thought. All right, give me a bold prediction.
Bold prediction. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game after what we saw on Thursday night, and it was your typical Thursday night game where both teams are kind of beat up and they're trying to figure out exactly who they are and do they even want to be there. 10-7 final. I think this thing's going to be both of these teams with the massive fan bases they have and with the national television audience and Allegiant Stadium and a lot of fans are going to be in there from the other side of things. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
All right.
And my bold prediction is Daniel Carlson makes up for what's happened thus far, and he kicks a game winner at the very end.
I have a feeling.
I
was thinking that the other day. I was just thinking that. I think this is time for him to have a big game. All right, Paul Gutierrez, thanks so much. We appreciate it. We'll see you out there at Allegiant.
Thank you. See you then.
All right, coming up, can Geno Smith's trust of Tyler Lockett pay dividends against the Cowboys? The Raiders' newest receiver joins the show next.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada,
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
How about Totally Obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
The Silver and Black Show is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. Victory Live, connecting the world of live experiences. And by 1800 Tequila, official partner of the Raiders. Taste is everything. Please drink responsibly.
Some people have Ring or ADT or whatever you use for security. Well, the security blanket for Geno Smith has been Tyler Lockett.
Lockett motion, here comes the blitz. Geno, clean pocket, dumps it, caught. Lockett at the 45, stretches the ball across, and he has the first down. Picked up 7, and it's his first catch as a Raider. Geno in the shotgun, Genty to his left, second down, back to throw. Genty's open, he throws near side. Tyler Lockett has it inside the 50, spins out of a tackle, and he's inside the Denver 45.
Yep, and now he is in Las Vegas with us, and it's good to see Tyler Lockett here. When you hear your Geno Smith security blanket, how does that make you feel?
I mean, I think it feels dope just because obviously I've been able to play with Geno for like 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And so just being able to build that connection and being able to build that chemistry, never thought we was going to be able to play together again after we ended up leaving Seattle. But, you know, we found our way back together and definitely excited to continue the journey with him.
Yeah, when you get that call, and it's not just Geno Smith, it's Pete Carroll as well, and you know you have a chance to kind of redo some of the magic you did. What were some of the factors that went into your decision?
I mean, the biggest thing is I think it was a no-brainer. Obviously, just through the course of my 9 years of playing with Pete Carroll, the one thing that I do know is that he will fight for his coaches and he will fight for his players. And I think as you play in a league a little bit longer, the thing that you tend to learn and you tend to see with a lot of older guys is you always want to be able to go play with people that's going to fight for you. And that's how you stay in the league longer. That's how you get your opportunities. And so definitely when Pete had reached out to me about being able to go out there, I've seen him fight for players. I've seen him fight for coaches. And so that's a coach that I want to be able to go fight for as well.
And look, he talks about competing, right? And in the last 2 games, you guys have lost by a collective 4 points.
Right.
Does it feel like this is turning in the direction, especially, like, what does Pete do that allows teams to compete?
Well, I think the biggest thing is like his culture is a lot different than every coach. And it doesn't mean that what every coach does doesn't work or it does work. It just means that he believes that he could get the best out of his players just being able to go out there and let them be who they are. Some people want to be comedians. Some people want to be serious. Some people want to just be able to be quiet. But whatever it is that allows you to come in and be your best, that's exactly what he asks of you, and that's what he requires of you. And so it's one of those type of cultures where it has to be vet-led. It has to be vet-oriented to be able to bring in the players and reel them in and believe in the culture, because it's all about competition, whether it's we're shooting hoops, whether it is we're doing jump balls, whatever the case is, when you're out there practicing against the defense, it's all about being able to win and compete. And so it's more that iron sharpening iron type of tactic, but you got to have the players to be able to buy in and do that.
Were you a 2-guard? Were you a shooting guard?
Point guard, shooting guard.
I was going to get
yeah.
1 or 2. I wasn't sure, but I knew you probably had a good jumper. You had 3 1,000-yard seasons with Geno Smith as your quarterback. What did he do early that allowed you guys to find that chemistry?
I think the biggest part is just the IQ of the game. So many people think when you go out there, you just play football, and sometimes it is. But when you get to the NFL, what separates a lot of players from other players is just the knowledge of the game, understanding situations, understanding defensive coordinators, understanding schemes, understanding tactics. Like, it's really a game within a game, and you have your game plan going into the game as an offense. You have your game plan going into the game as a receiver, but you also got to be able to learn how to adjust on the swivel based off of what that player may be doing or based off of what that team may be doing to be able to game plan against you. And so being able to have that instant communication, I think, is very important. You come on the sideline, you don't just sit on the sideline. You go talk to them. Hey, what do you see? This is what I see. This is what they're playing. The coaches are saying, hey, they didn't guard this play whenever we ran this play. And so now when you have chances to go back to it, we're all on the same page of why we're calling it and what we're thinking, and now it's going and executing it.
This is your 11th season. You probably never take a primetime game for granted. What is the mentality of not just a veteran like yourself, the locker room when you're going into Monday Night Football?
Well, I mean, I think Monday Night Football is like big, right? Everybody wants to be able to watch you because you're the only 2 teams playing, and everybody wants to put on a good show. But I do think one of the things that Pete did bring a long time ago that I do, continue to harp on is every game should be a Super Bowl mentality, and every game should be a Super Bowl matchup. And if you treat every game as such, you understand that there is no tomorrow, because the Super Bowl is the last game of the year. Mm-hmm. And so you treat it as the last game of the year, and you approach it as the last game of the year. And then once that game is taking place, now you get ready for Super Bowl preparation. And so if you start to have that type of mindset about it, when you get to the playoffs, you don't change your mindset and try too hard. There is no over-trying, because you're already treating it as if this is all we got.
So in this game, you guys want to dictate what happens, right? So what can you do early? What does this offense need to do early to make the defense adjust to you? Because too often this season, we've seen you guys have to adjust to them.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing just for us as an offense, and I think we've seen it a little bit in Jacksonville, is just time of possession. And the more that we can be able to hold on to the ball, the more we can be able to execute third downs. One of the things that I've learned is that, we got to get better at 3rd and short. So 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, like those are the things that we haven't been getting first downs on. But 3rd, 4, and 6, we've been doing a great job. And so the more that we're able to move the sticks and control the clock and go out there and score touchdowns instead of trying to always kick field goals, it puts our defense in a great situation, because now all of a sudden we talk about IQ of the game. Now they know, like, hey, this is pass down situations. We don't have to worry about the run as much, because now we understand that they're going to be kind of like one-dimensional. And the more that we can take control of what we can do as an offense, we can almost narrate the game for what the defense is going to start seeing, because they have less amount of time and opportunities than we do.
Sounds simple. Just hold on to the ball, right? Long drives.
Football's simple.
That's
but
right.
It's also hard.
Yeah, that's right. You were the most targeted receiver last week. Going into this game on Monday night, what is going to be the key to get the other players involved, and most notably Brock Bowers?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like we all got to be able to do our job, right? So like we're all given a play and everybody has a job within the play, and sometimes our job is what helps other people get open, and sometimes the play allows the player to do what they need to do to be able to get open. But we all got to make sure that we're like route conscientious of understanding our depths, understanding what we got to do, who to grab as a defender, and not trying to do too much or do whatever it takes to get open, because some plays don't require of us to do that. But I think if we just continue to build off of what we've been doing these last 2 games, I think everybody will start being able to get a lot more opportunities. Obviously, some teams are trying to take away specific players, which allows other players to be able to step up, because that's what's going to continue to help us as other teams start to have the game plan for other players as well. And that way it allows us to be able to continue to dig within our bag to be able to get specific people the ball a lot more.
When you have 2 starting linemen down, like you guys are going to have, of course you have the next man up and you expect the guys stepping in to play well. The reality is you have to make some adjustments and prepare. What adjustments are made? How does Gino specifically prepare for probably less time this week?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say if it's less time or not. I think the biggest thing is that every time somebody goes out and a new guy goes in, you got to be able to recreate that communication level and build that chemistry. So whether it's a center or whether it's a tackle or a guard, you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page and visualizing and seeing the game the way that you see it to be able to go out there and win, because each week is different. And so some calls you call heavily this week, the next calls on the O-line, you might not call it at all. But for the most part, it's making sure everybody's on the same page, understanding how to pick up blitzes, understanding how to ID certain players, and understanding like what's coming. Are they bluffing the blitz? Are they not? Like all of that is just within the film preparation. And so some of the things that we can definitely get better at as a full team and just as an offense with every position provided is just the stuff that takes no talent. Like all it does is take preparation and understanding and knowledge. And the more that we can do that, we'll be way ahead of the game when it comes to understanding what they're trying to do.
It's nice to have this kind of long mini bye to prepare for that as well. Yeah. You mentioned that Pete Carroll really has a veteran-led culture, I think you said. How have you been a mentor to there's some really good young rookies, especially in your receiving room. What has your interaction been with them?
I mean, I think it's been great. I mean, obviously, I just got here, so I got to get a feel of everybody and talk with everybody and understand, like, what can you talk about, what can't you talk about. But for the most part, like, for me, I just want to be able to provide the history, because a lot of guys might not know the history of Pete. They might not understand what he did at USC. They might not understand what he did in Seattle, because some of them might not have even been born.
I was going to say they're not born
right.
yet. Yeah.
And if they were just toddlers. And so it's being able to give them that information so that they can continue to buy in and continue to understand, like, hey man, like, you're in a unique position where the way that Pete brings his culture, like, you don't have to always focus on the business side. You can just learn how to be able to make it just football and just go out there and play, because that's what he wants you to do. He doesn't want you to get caught up in all that outside stuff. And so it's kind of cool just being able to come here, because I've been there before, and being able to bring the history and the knowledge and the understanding so that they can be able to feel more comfortable and figure out, like, what works for you to go out there so that you could be the best version of yourself.
I don't want to simplify this again, but how did the Raiders leave Allegiant with a win?
You said,
how do you guys leave with a win at Allegiant
I thought you were talking about where I was at another place. And I was like, hold on, what?
Monday night.
Because, I think for us, man, we just got to play complementary football. I mean, if we can be able to play where offense is on the same side, defense is on the same side, special teams is on the same side, obviously it makes it so much easier to go out there and win. But we don't always want one side to carry the other side or one side to carry both sides. So as we can continue to build together, like defense makes a play, hey, that should be able to push us forward to be able to continue to make plays. But I do think the best is ahead. We've played 2 playoff teams the last 2 games, and we had a chance to be able to win, and we just weren't able to execute it. So it's not like we're 8 plays away or 10 plays away. We were 1 play away from Jacksonville. We were 1 play away from Denver, just being able to take them to overtime and stuff like that. So potential, it's right there. Now it's just us being able to figure out what's going to get us over the edge and over that hump.
That's a great point. A lot were self-inflicted, right? It wasn't even getting beaten. It was beating yourselves at time. And I'm sure you guys have had this long week to correct a lot of those. I can't wait to see you out there. It's going to be exciting. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. No problem.
Coming up next, the Raiders are down 2 offensive linemen. How do they adjust? Lincoln Kennedy joins us next.
Raider Nation, get ready for the ultimate pregame party. The Modelo Tailgate Zone is steps from the stadium, and it's free. Enjoy games, face painting, the Raiderettes, and Raiders alumni, drinks, and food trucks. For the first time ever, a concert featuring 3 of the most powerful voices in modern music. You don't want to miss the Power of 3. An electrifying supergroup, 3 stars, 1 stage. Located in Lot N at the north end of the stadium. Indoors, they'll open 4 hours before kickoff. See you there.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one? 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, what a man!
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
Welcome back as the Raiders face the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. Lots of question marks around the offensive line with both JPJ and Colton Miller out. And to talk more about how this offense can adjust, let's bring in Raider Nation Radio's Lincoln Kennedy. And Lincoln, it's fitting to have an offensive lineman here. There's no doubt, if you looked at that game against the Broncos, Gino didn't have a lot of time. There was a lot of struggles. How do they adjust now that they've had longer than a week? They've had kind of a mini bye, knowing they're not going to have these 2 linemen.
Well, Amber, I've always thought that, a running game is a quarterback's best friend. And we have yet to see this offense get in a true identity throughout the season. And as far as it goes, you're going to have to establish Ashton Genty or this running game. That's going to be able to help Geno Smith. Is also going to be able to help the offensive line, because the best way to instill confidence in offensive line is have these guys go forward and be able to dominate the opposing defense. Dallas has a bunch of holes in their defense, and this offense can take advantage of it, but we haven't seen it consistently. It's a gamble, but they're just going to have to do the best they can going out there trying to run the football.
How does Geno Smith adjust? I mean, he knows he's not going to have a lot of time. He has to go in expecting that.
Pre-snap reads are a big deal. When you can recognize the coverage and understand the coverage, then you kind of have an idea where you can go with the football. And of course, you got to have the freedom to be able to make changes. Now, I've seen Geno do that a few times. I haven't seen him audible a lot, but he's got to have the ability to recognize that there might be in a bad play and get him out. That too will build his confidence as well.
Look, Tyler Lockett had the most targets in that game against the Broncos. It is clear that there is a comfort and a trust with him. Does Chip Kelly just kind of roll with that, or do you really need to get Brock Bowers the most amount of targets? Because I'm not buying that he wasn't. We saw that he was open. I know they were double teaming him, but there was times where they could have gotten him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you have to have the pre-snap reads, and you have to go through your reads as you go through your pages. I mean, your people that you can throw to. The thing is, Amber, when you think about the familiarity and the chemistry between quarterback and wide receiver, you take in consideration how long they played together, where they've been together, but more importantly, can Geno trust if he throws the ball somewhere near this receiver that'll get it? Now, Brock Bowers has got a tremendous catch radius. I don't think anybody will ever deny that. But unless Chip Kelly specifically designs plays to go to a particular player, it's going to be up to Geno to go through his reads.
Yeah, and look, there needs to be opportunities for people other than Tyler Lockett, and there are opportunities for the young guys out there, for the rookies. What are you seeing from them now that they've gotten a few more opportunities from Dante Thornton and Jack Besh, and how can they become even more involved?
Well, Jack Best was brought in to be a possession receiver. That means the Raiders have to stay ahead of schedule. You can't get in third down 8s and 9s and think that your possession receiver is going to be able to come open. You have to be manageable situations like third down and 4s and 5s. As far as, Dante Thornton, well, he's had an opportunity. He had many opportunities this season. Unfortunately, there's been some drops. So I don't know if Geno has that overall confidence with limited amount of plays, Amber, as this offense has had all season. It's not like there are guys that you can rely on and know that you can go to, maybe other than Brock Bowers or Michael Mayer's come on the scene, but these guys have got to do their best to get open. A lot of times those guys are left called in protection to help solidify the pocket. Let's
switch sides here. The Cowboys offense is top 4 right now. Dak is having a really solid season. CeeDee Lamb is working out. George Pickens is working out. How do Max Crosby, that defensive line, and the Raiders defense that's been playing very well, disrupt what Dak is trying to do?
Well, Max is going to be double teamed. There's no doubt about it. They're going to have a focus on Max. They're going to try to find out where he is. So there's going to have to be other guys that are going to have to come available. Maybe Malcolm Kuntz, maybe Tyree Wilson. There's going to have to be other guys that are going to have to come open and be able to put pressure on Dak. This wide receiving core and this core of playmakers that the Cowboys have had, as you mentioned, are top notch. And so you cannot afford to just sit back and play zone. You've got to be aggressive if you're Patrick Graham. You got to get to Dak, get to him early, and make sure that you contain the run game, because don't give him that option of run and pass.
What do you credit the Raiders' defense, the surge that we've kind of seen in the Raiders' defense? I mean, even in that Jaguars game, there was a lot of points put on the board. But you look at a lot of very tough situations the offense put them in that game, and they held kind of until they didn't. So what is the surge? What is the reason for it? What are you crediting to that?
Well, I mean, look, you got the Condor, Max Crosby doing this thing, and I think other people are following. This defense has played very excited all season. It's just unfortunate they couldn't have complementary football from the offense and even the special teams. With that being said, going forward, this defense is going to continue to be good. We know the team identity has based on the defense. They are aggressive, but they can't sit back and try to play zone or play soft coverage, because this offense will pick them apart.
Do you think Caillou Blue Kelly will be tested? I mean, he had a great game. He had a great
There's
game.
No doubt about it.
Don't want to take it away from him.
Tested.
Exactly. So how do they match up? I mean, these are two of the best receivers in the NFL right now as far as
safeties are going to have to communicate, Amber. The safeties are going to have to communicate with the coverages and understand the holes that are in the coverages. This defense has been exposed intermediate and long passes for a reason, because they get out of sorts in the secondary. So the safety is going to have to communicate back there. They're going to have to be in the right place at the right time. More importantly, if there's man coverage, the Raiders defenders have got to keep their eyes on the receiver and don't fall for the okie doke. Don't look in the backfield and don't go for the play fakes and stuff like that. Cover your assignment to make sure those guys don't get open. But it's going to be a tough challenge.
All right, so we do know that the Dallas Cowboys, though, are very beatable. We have seen that. So how do the Raiders win this game?
Score more points than them.
Hold on, I just looked up my football 101.
Exactly.
Yeah, score more points than the other team. That's a great way to start. You know what? You're right. I mean, I've said it. You got to score points. You can't score 7 points and win a game. You can't score 15 points a game like they have been and win a game. So you know what? I'm gonna add on to that. They win if they get out early. Get up at least maybe 10-0 early. I would love to see a touchdown and maybe a field goal early, and I think that could really help. Then they could take their time, run the ball.
I will add this, Amber. I will say this. In my opinion, if the Raiders win the time of possession, and Ashton Genty has over 150 combined yards, I think the Raiders have a good chance of winning.
I like that. All right, Lincoln Kennedy, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you.
Always a pleasure, Amber.
All right, coming up, Darren McFadden. He knows a thing or two about running the rock in the silver and black. He is talking Ashton Genty. And also, Pete Carroll. He continues to show us his MO. Competing is his thing. And one last thing.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one? 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, what a man!
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
The Silver and Black Show has been brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights, only at Allegiant.com. And by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Las Vegas Raiders and the NFL. Welcome back. If the Raiders are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night in front of the nation, they're going to have to run the football. And our next guest knows a thing or two about running the football in the silver and black. We welcome in Darren McFadden. Hey, Darren, it's good to see you.
Hey, how's it going? I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, we needed somebody that knew a little bit about offensive lines and running the football. So, of course, you're the perfect guy. You played, though, for both the Dallas Cowboys and for the Raiders. What's the first thing you will be looking for in this matchup on Monday night?
I tell people I had the honor of playing for 2 great organizations. I enjoy playing for both of them. Been 7 years in Oakland, and so that's what my heart is. And so I'll be looking for the Raiders to go out there and handle their business against the Cowboys.
Ashton Genty, the rookie running back, is second among rookies in rushing yards. What are your thoughts when you look at him play? What do you think about him?
And he's definitely a bright spot watching him play out there. He's the guy, he runs the ball hard, man. He looks like he knows what he's doing when he's out there. He don't run the ball like a rookie. He looks like he's been here before.
We actually talked to Maurice Jones-Drew, a guy that played at the same time you were playing. He talked about getting Genty touches even when opposing defenses are stuffing the run early. So the difference between carries and touches. So how can Chip Kelly kind of be creative to keep him involved in the game, even if Dallas is doing a good job of stopping conventional runs?
That's one thing with football. At the end of the day, you want to get the ball in your playmaker's hands. And, he's a guy that can make plays. So whether it's you're handing the ball off to him or trying to throw it to him in routes, or then you know me, I'm a fan of him even lining up back there and taking direct snaps. So just whatever kind of way you can get the ball in his hand, man, it's gonna make for a good thing for the Raiders.
The Raiders, they only have 18 sacks on the season, even with Max Crosby. That's a little surprising. Did you think that they'd be a little bit more successful with the pass rush? And who else can step up, kind of help out Max?
I can't say that I'm surprised. They're not. It's always an up and down thing. Seems like you have guys some years go out there and put these numbers up, and it's just one of those deals where you want to get somebody else to take a little pressure off Max. Man, he's always doing a heck of a job out there. I love watching him play, man. The passion that he slays with, and it's just we just have to have somebody else step up to that plate right there and just try to take some of that slack off of it.
All right, I want you to finish this sentence. The Raiders will win if.
Well, I feel like the Raiders will win if Ashton Gentry rushed for over 100 and probably 2 touchdowns.
All right, I like it. I think Raider Nation would love to see that. Hey, Darren, it's so good to see you. Thanks for joining the show.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
All right, take care. Time now for one last thing. Yes, the Raiders are 2-7, but since the bye, they've competed. They lost to the Jags and Broncos by a collective 4 points. Compete, compete, compete. That was the mantra throughout training camp, and Carroll knows his team is battling.
I'm so fired about the way we played in general. There's a lot of in-between things to talk about, but the way that they competed was just what we're hoping for. It was just what we're looking for. And could we not clip a guy? Could we not hold a guy? Yeah. Could we not pick a guy? Yeah. There's so many things we can get better at, but the fight is in this dog now. Ain't no doubt about it.
Remember at the beginning of the season, we told you 56% of the games Pete Carroll has coached in his career have been one-score games? Those who've covered him for decades, they believe he'll turn it around.
I am biased when it comes to Pete. I love the guy, and he hasn't forgotten how to coach or motivate. Last night, I saw a team that hadn't backed up a U-Haul at all. I didn't see it. As a matter of fact, they balled out. And at the end of the day, they just could not protect Geno Smith. And that's something that any team is going to look like garbage if you can't protect a quarterback who also has trouble protecting the football himself.
Yeah, no doubt the offense needs to play better. Right now, they're averaging just 15 points a game. That's definitely not enough to win. But we've seen a rise in this defense. Last week, they held the division leaders to 10 points, had 2 picks from Caillou Blue Kelly. And check this out. They held the Broncos to just 30% on third down. That's winning football, and it has Cowboys media buzzing.
Much as we talk about Max Crosby, we're not talking about this guy right here, Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator that has a lot of respect around there, that was over there at the Giants for many years and seen guys like Dak Prescott, a young CeeDee Lamb. So he has some familiarity over here, and he's a good defensive coordinator that can make these adjustments. And so he's going to want to use that. He's going to want to use the momentum that he has right now, coming and playing a good defense. Pete Carroll being the defensive dominant head coach, me being around him, I know him. The way that he's going to go in there and talk to them, he's going to say, hey, guys, forget what the record says. Go in here and look what we just did this last week. He's going to show them their highlight tape, make them believe in it and eat it and say, hey, defense, y'all are the backbone right now. So the Cowboys should be worried about this game, and this can be one of those trap games that makes me a little nervous right now.
But this league is about wins. With 2 offensive linemen out, the offense definitely needs to score. The new-look special teams unit has to hit the layups. Close games are only fun if you're on the winning side. And for those attending Monday Night Football, a little note here. Before the game at the Modelo Tailgate Zone at Lot Inn, 3 of the most powerful voices in modern music will perform together as the Power of 3, an electrifying supergroup that unites platinum-selling guitarist and singer-songwriter Orianthi, legendary drummers Cindy Blackman Santana, and world-renowned bassist Rhonda Smith. Doors open 4 hours before kickoff. The concert starts at 3:15. That'll do it for us. It's Cowboys Raiders Monday Night Football from Allegiant. I'm Amber Theoharis. Have a great weekend, everyone.